Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
About a minute before the boycott. You may even want to do some.
Well, it's that time again, folks. Christmas! And with Christmas only days away, I thought I may as well review the greatest Christmas film of all time. What's that film? Home Alone? Die Hard? No? Well, A Christmas Story? No. Well, all great films. The king of Christmas films, the holy grail of Christmas films, the Star of Bethlehem of Christmas films is It's a Wonderful Life, which is a truly wonderful film. It's a Wonderful Life is an 1946 film directed by Frank Capra and starring the legendary Jimmy Stewart, the Tom Hanks of his era. Now, It's a Wonderful Life focuses around George Bailey. George Bailey is the nicest guy in town, pretty much. He's always there for others, he's always helping them, and because of his own life sacrifice, what he wants to do, he can't do because he's always looking out for others and trying to help them out. However, one day he becomes disheartened, and with this, God and Joseph overlook his life, sending down Clarence, the angel, who was yet to get his wings, to help George Bailey, to make him feel better and to remind him of how he has a wonderful life. George Bailey, the story here is pretty well known, actually. If you've ever wondered where the story of showing someone what their life would be if they never existed came from, this is the film. With Clarence showing George how life would be if he was never born. And, unsurprisingly, this world isn't as good as what it appeared. Now, what I loved about It's a Wonderful Life is really the emotions that are captured in this film. I mean, if there's ever a film that makes you feel happy, feels joyous, this is the film. This captures the joy. This film just invokes joy. I mean, here is a picture of what I looked like exactly after I saw this film. Look at me. Yeah, I am smiling, and this is what this film does. It fills you with joy. If you ever feel like shit, like so depressed, so upset about something, I say put this film on. It is great medicine for that, as you will I guarantee you, at the end of the film, you will feel an overwhelming sense of joy. And every time I've seen this film 4 times now. I've seen it every Christmas since 2014, and plus, actually, the time my father passed away. That was the first time I saw this film, and after I saw that film, I actually felt a great sense of joy. Like, this is a film, and at probably the worst point of my life so far. And this film actually brought back a smile. It made me feel happy again. And that's what this film does. It's so joyous, it's so emotional. And that is the absolute brilliance of this film. And I'm gotta say, the acting all around is pretty good. I mean, Jimmy Stewart is great. I mean, I love Stewart, and he's perfect for the role of George Bailey, as it's pretty much James Stewart on screen. And he is such a nice, likable guy. He's one of the most likable protagonists you'll ever find on screen. And Stewart gives a great performance as George Bailey, and everyone in this film is pretty great. Donna Reed? No, I don't think that is. Might be mistaken, but she's also, for his wife, he's also pretty good. And I will say this film has some really nice cinematography also. The way they do the snow and the black and white effects, I feel like it really worked well. And It's a Wonderful Life also really did a good job in telling its story. And it's a really unique and original story. Like, the story of being shown that you never existed is not necessarily the most original today, as it's been done millions of times. But in 1946, when this film was first made, yeah, this would have been a very unique and original story to show someone what life would be if they were never born. Really good. And the villain in this film, I mean, he's a bit of a cliche. I mean, very rich Scrooge kind of. Yeah, he pretty much is Scrooge, in a way. Very rich, very egotistical, thinks about himself and cares only really about his money. Doesn't care about other people if they live in slums as long as he gets his way. And he is pretty much Scrooge. But it works well in this film. He gives this film a nice antagonist, and the fact that the two characters really contrast each other, with Bailey being the nicest guy in town who's always looking out for others, while Potter is always looking out for himself and doesn't care what other happens to other people. And yeah, this film is really great in that way. I mean, it has some really nice lines too. I like how the film transitions through the eras of like the 1910s to the 1940s. It transitions well between the decades. It feels like a natural flow. Like, and you can see, like, they handle they showed the Roaring Twenties as with the jazz and the dance numbers, and then they showed the Great Depression, and then they showed World War II, and then they showed, well, just after World War II actually. Like, it really does capture it. Though I have to say, Jimmy Stewart is really not cut out to be like what is it, a 19-year-old? I don't know, 20-something-year-old? Yeah. When he's 1928, he really is not cut out to play I think his character was born in 1907, so that would have made him, what, 21? Yeah. He doesn't look like a 21-year-old in that scene. But that's alright, because his performance throughout the film makes a lot more sense. It is really good throughout it. And through his 1930s scenes, it kind of makes sense the way he looks at. Once he's a family man, settled down, all of it, it kind of feels a bit more natural. It's just a little. You just know it's not a 20-year-old, like, you really know that. But it's a really good film. Like, I will say, if I have one nitpick, it is a bit of a flashback scene, the never been seen bits, where they said, you wouldn't like it, when George asks about his wife, and Clarence responds, you won't like it, she's just closing up the library. I don't know, it kind of, might be reading too much into it, but it kind of comes off a bit sexist. In that, oh, she has a job that's so bad. Like, this film was made in the 1940s, so I can kind of forgive that, but it's just a nitpick. I'm probably reading too much into it. But yeah. And I must say, Bert and the taxi driver is Ernie, and the cop is Bert. And they're like some of George's closest friends. Bert and Ernie? Sesame Street? Okay, well, Sesame Street wasn't made. I wonder if this film is inspired it in any ways. I don't know. I'll look that up. And yeah, I mean, and also those final 10, 15 minutes of this film where George is just running through this. Like, the whole last hour is absolutely brilliant. But those last 10 and 15 minutes where he's filled with this euphoria as he runs through the streets screaming, Merry Christmas, everybody! And he's just shouting out a Merry Christmas to everyone. I love that scene. And when he rushes home and everyone comes out to help him, it's just a great scene. It was one of my favourite scenes in cinema because I guarantee you no film will ever make you feel as happy as this film does. And It's a Wonderful Life is a wonderful film. It's one of my favourite movies of all time. I love it. If you haven't seen it, please go out and see it. It's the best Christmas film of all time. It's one of the best films ever made, and it's one of my favourite films. Yeah, probably in the top 10 somewhere. Thank you guys, and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more. Merry Christmas.